Okay, welcome back, trio. Here we're going to go over another video of finding trig functions. In this case, we're given the tangent function and we're given the quadrant. So let's get started. We have tangent theta equals 6/8 and theta is between pi and 3 pi over 2. So let's make a triangle. Pi over 2, pi, three pi over 2, and 2 pi. So, given that we're here between pi and 3 pi over 2, we're in this quadrant, 1, 2, 3, we're in quadrant number 3, so let's make our triangle. So theta is there. Tangent, by definition, is opposite over adjacent. So that means we have 6 and 8, and we don't know C. Now, one more thing, because we're in this quadrant, we have both legs being negative. This is a negative, this is a negative. So now let's use the Pythagorean theorem to find C, the hypotenuse. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or we can say c equals the square root of a squared plus b squared. And we can plug in our numbers. C equals the square root of a, which is -6, squared, plus b, which is -8, squared. C equals 36 plus 64. C equals the square root of 100, which is nice. We can reduce that. C equals 10. So now we know the hypotenuse is 10, and remember the hypotenuse is always positive. So we put 10 here. Now we can find our remaining trig functions. So tangent theta was given as 6/8. We can reduce that. Let's see, that becomes 3/4. And we can box that. Sine theta will be opposite over hypotenuse, so that's -6 over 10. -6 over 10. When we can reduce that, -3/5. And cosine. Cosine theta is going to equal adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's -8 over 10. We can reduce that. That becomes -4/5. We have our 3 primary trig functions. We can find the remaining trig functions. The trig function that corresponds to cosine is secant. So secant theta will equal the reciprocal, -5 fourths. The one that corresponds to sine is cosecant. We take the reciprocal of this one, that will be negative 5/3. And the one that corresponds to tangent is cotangent. So cotangent theta will be equal to the reciprocal of this one, and that's 4/3. And we have our 6 trig functions. Notice that the only ones positive is tangent and cotangent. That's the only functions positive in this quadrant. Thank you. Here's our answers. We can box the whole thing. We're done. Go trio.